Hello and welcome back to another episode of the CQ the Watch Guy podcast with me, CQ the Watch Guy. Hope you're having an amazing day and thank you so much for tuning in. Well, we're back outside. We are on top of the DavidSW headquarters here in Miami, Florida. If you guys haven't been by yet, make sure you come check it out. We're at 4800 Northeast 2nd Avenue, Miami, Florida. Great space, lots of good watches. We've actually been rotating some inventory, so we have some really cool pieces here in Miami. And yeah, thank you guys again for tuning in. The sun is out. It's beautiful. No snow in Miami yet, even though I was looking up in the record books, and it has snowed here a couple times, over the century, let's say that. So yeah, I don't think it'll be this year, but it'll be interesting to see some winter in South Florida. Either ways, February's here. I know, right? January kind of like flew by in half of a blink, it seems. But either way, we're at the top of February, and what does that mean? We have a little bit of news from Patek Philippe. So a little bit of I don't know the word, bittersweet news, because a few iconic models have been shown the door or gone to rest, let's say that. Their watch has ended, if you're a Game of Thrones fan. And let's start it off with the Aquanaut Travel Time Patek Philippe 5164A has now been discontinued. So the Travel Time Aquanaut has been around since 2011. So it's had a really good run. I think, Patek is doing a good job of updating pieces, trimming the fat where they need to trim the fat, and really kind of make their whole collection a little bit more streamlined. And that's what you're seeing from a lot of these discontinuations that we're going to talk about today. It's just Patek, in my opinion, just streamlining their collection. Of course, there'll be something to replace this, but the interesting thing about Patek, we don't know if it'll come this year, right? They might discontinue the 5164 and not give you another travel time for quite a while, or they might give you one this year. There's really no rhyme or reason that we can speculate on how they do business, which is fun. I love that about Patek and Rolex as well, is that I can sit here and I can speculate and I can give you all my theories, but at the end of the day, they have their own strategies and their own reasons for doing things. So sad to see the 5164 gone. 5164R rose gold version is still alive and kicking. We also lost 5062, which is Aquanaut with baguette diamonds on the case and on the dial as well. So that was a more of a ladies piece. That one's gone. Bigger one, 5980/1R. So that's a big boy Patek. 5980 chronograph, rose gold honor bracelet, and the two-tone. That's been gone for a while now. So no more 5980s at all in the catalog. Wow, it's amazing to see they that as well had a good run. I think at least going not a full 10 years. We're almost there in different variations. The steels got discontinued quite a while. I think the 5980/1A white dial is probably still the rare bird that you don't see very often. It's such a good looking watch. But the rose gold was amazing piece. Really loved it every time I see one on the wrist. And interesting to see it's gone. But the 5980 and the 5990 always kind of, to me, where we're kind of fighting each other, even though one's a chronograph and then one's a chronograph with a dual time on it. I think case, feel, and look very, very similar. So I think this was always going to slowly happen. And I'm sure there'll be a new Nautilus chronograph in the future without a travel time. But again, it's not a rush, right? Because you have the 5990 kind of holding up that space for you. So no more 5980R. 5712, they're coming for you, buddy. 5712R and 5712G. So white gold, rose gold on a strap, not discontinued. So you only have the 5712 steel. And, this is probably the only prediction that I feel firmly about. The 5712 steel, this is probably just going to be its last year. Yeah, and then they'll probably maybe give us, I would love to see a green dial 5712 like they did the 5711 as a going away, kind of outward last hurrah. I would love to see a green dial, a really fun dial with the 5712, but with the rose gold and white gold on the shot pieces being discontinued, it's clear that we're moving into whatever the next version of the 5712 would be. A 5712 has been around since 2006, right? So almost a 20th year anniversary. So they might wait for 20 years to do something fresh, maybe a 5812, and just give us a little bit of updated case or movement, or come out with something completely new. who knows? But yeah, my favorite watch, 5712. So sad to see it go, but it's nice to see that such a really long, healthy run. And I'm sure whatever that's gonna come out after is gonna be really special as well. Yeah, so that's my only real firm prediction. I think this is the last year of the 5712 steel blue. There might be another one, in my opinion. Maybe they do like a special dial, or they might just say, "Hey, boom, we got a whole new piece." But I think things are pointing to that direction. 5160G always also discontinued. So this is a retrograde perpetual calendar engraved. So this one hung around a lot longer than I thought, which often happens, right? We still see like in the catalog there's still 5961P, 5961R, which is annual calendar rose gold chronograph with baguette diamond bezels. 5960 has been gone for quite a while now. 5960R is one of my favorites, so it's something I track. So you see sometimes that engraved pieces, jewel pieces, they'll have a little bit more of a runway, even though they're normal variations, let's say, are already gone. So that's gone. The 5230P world timer with the hand guilloche dial, that one's discontinued. That one is a little bit surprised because that one's only been around for a few years, and I've sold quite a few. They've had really, really good responses, and I think people really love it. So I can see the 5230 coming back just with a different metal variation, maybe not in platinum, maybe white gold, maybe a steel, right? That'd be a fun steel world timer piece. And then we lost the travel times, the 7234R, 7234G, the smaller travel times. Again, makes sense, just kind of cleaning up the fat a little bit in the collection. And when you look at what Patek is offering now, really, really good offer. Everything is really streamlined. You can see them slowly going away from being a very knowledge sports heavy, selection, which they never really wanted to, right? They never wanted to be like, hey, we just do knowledge and aquanauts, but they did, have a really good run, and they're still having a great run with sports pieces. But more and more, day by day, people are coming to me for college travelers with complications, things like that. And you're really seeing a lot of steam coming back there. The 5212, which to me is still right now one of the best Pateks to go out and get pre-owned or new if you can get one new. The value, they're really close to retail in the pre-owned market. It's just a really gorgeous handwritten dial. I'm glad to see that one is still sticking around. Hopefully they evolve on that. But when you see pieces like that, you really see that they're trying to get that younger audience to look at some of their watches, and I think it's working very, very well. So all this really means is the plate is clear a little bit. So when we get into watches and wonders, in April, we're gonna see some really, really fun pieces from Patek. I think this is going to be a big year for them. I think we might see, these are my predictions that I'm 50-50 on. I think we could see a 5811 in steel. I think we could see some type of aquanaut travel time thing. I don't know what exactly it'll be, but I could see a fresh aquanaut coming out to like fill that space in the steel aquanaut lineup. Because right now, and it's so funny because I was like, okay, so we only have the 5067 A in steel, either on the rubber or on the bracelet. What is the next evolution, right? And it's like, well, the next evolution already exists because the 5168 Gs exists, right? So it's a little bit bigger, 42 millimeter white gold, but it's still a time-only aquanaut. So it'd be interesting if they brought a stainless steel version out of that. Maybe they discontinue the 5167A altogether. But to me, the 5167A is just such a nice size. You almost don't want to mess with it, right? Maybe you play around with the dials, maybe you do some things, but in my opinion, you'd want to keep something in that size category. So it's very interesting to see what they might do to refresh the Aquanaut lineup. Because right now, the only other steel one would be the 5968A, which would be the Aquanaut chronograph. Is also a good-looking watch. So interesting to see. I think we could see a new Aquanaut pop out. The 5261R, which is the Aquanaut with the Perpetual counter, has been doing really good. So we might see more complicated pieces there as well. So interesting time to look at Patek. We can get all our predictions now on, start doing our Photoshop mock-ups and everything like that. Another thing to note, there was the price increase that everybody was expecting. So it looks on average about 7% on everything, which again was kind of to be expected by the brand. It just goes with the territory around this time. You're going to see a price increase. It just, is a matter of how much. 7% is a sizable amount because, again, when we're talking about Patek, you're talking about $30,000 in up watches. So, a little bit of chunk of change is getting sprinkled on top. But for most Pateks, you're buying the value's kind of sealed in there as well. And pre-owned wise, your pieces just kind of took a little bit of a kind of a value jump in a sense, because the roof of the retail has been raised, so it kind of helps you out on that side as well. So yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see what's gonna happen for Watches and Wonders. I think it's going to be a fun year for Patek. I think they're going to come out swinging. I think the collector base, the watch world, the enthusiasm world is really open and really ready for something cool and unique to pop out from them. And they've been doing a really good job in the past few years, in my opinion. The past 10 years, I'd say they've been doing a good job to kind of adapt to the taste of people while keeping their identity and their, just a continuity of how they look, and their DNA, right? Their DNA is still strong in all their watches, even though they're trending a little bit more modern, which I think is the goal, right? You don't want to stick in, a certain mindset while your collectors kind of age out, right? They kind of age out of buying your pieces, or they've collected everything where it's like, hey, I got 30 or so, I don't really need anymore. So I think they're doing a really good job to attract newer, younger collectors. And, that's why Patek is, on top. So it's going to be a fun Watches and Wonders, and we will be going more details coming up on that, but we got some things planned for you. We like to give you the information first, so we got some fun things that I'll give you more details as we tick a little bit closer. Now let's get into my watches of the week. We got a really nice lineup. Make sure you check out the website, DavidSW.com. Hit that new arrival selections. Every day, every morning, every night, we are posting watches, and we have a great variety of things coming in at all price points, all type of brands as well. And they've been going pretty fast, so make sure you hit that new arrivals section. And if you see something, send a message, chat with us, shoot us an email, come into the store. But things do move pretty fast at that 5212. They didn't last 3 days on the website, priced really well. And again, those pieces just are really good pieces, and that's happening a lot. So if you see something, shoot a message. We'll be able to answer any of your questions really quick, and that way you don't lose out on your dream piece. All right, so let's get it started with the Breitling Superocean 44 millimeter. These came out, I think, two to 3 years ago. They just kind of updated the Superocean lineup. I love Breitling, of course, but I love Superoceans because to me, they've always been that great diver that's fun, that's unique, that's a tank at a really, really good price point. This case in point, $38.75 for unworn piece. Time only, ceramic bezel. It's green, it's beautiful, night forest green. Looks great on a strap, looks good on a rubber strap. We have it here on a bracelet as well. Super duper versatile piece. That's just a good looker, diver, tank, do anything type of watch, and it's just a very nice fresh look from Breitling as well. Breitling has been doing a great job updating the look of pretty much your whole lineup, and I like the way that these Superoceans look. Again, a great watch to pull the trigger on if you're looking for something around that price point. You want a tank, you want a nice everyday, you want a great weekender as well. I think the Superocean 44 with the green dot is a really, really great choice to look at. Now, keeping it moving, keeping the Panerai love flowing. And I'm talking about this one because I'm thinking about it for myself, to be honest with you. And that's a Panerai PAM 734 Luminor Marina 1950s case. 1953 days, titanium with a beautiful sand dial, limited edition. I love a good Luminor on a bracelet. I've loved them since I first started being in the business. They're just a very unique look, right? There's nothing that looks like a Luminor. There's nothing that looks like a Luminor on a bracelet, especially these new modern bracelets that Panerai is doing. Really enjoy it. And this sand, reminds me of a cafecito on a Sunday morning. That beautiful sand desert color I really love with the 18 karat gold hands. And it's a sandwich that as well. That means when you look at the numerals and the hour markers, there's a little bit of depth, and then you have that kind of lighter sand colored loom there. Really, really beautiful watch. $78.75. This one's full set, limited to 100 pieces from January 2018. And it comes with, the beautiful kind of a fabric sailcloth strap in that lighter sand color as well. Just a really, really good watch. Fun watch. You can swim with this. You can do whatever you want with it. I'd wear it in a suit. I'd wear it not in a suit. And yeah, a really good entry in, like, if you one or two watch collection, you're looking for something fun, you don't want to break the bank, and this is one of those Panerais. It does a lot of talking without being something super super crazy, and I really enjoy that. So the Pam 734, my Panerai pick of the day. Right, I need some drops for that. All right, next up, let's talk about the IWC Big Pile Perpetual Calendar Rodeo Drive Edition. One of my favorite variations of this watch. I'm a big fan of the IWC Big Pile Perpetual Calendars. They just give you all this information because it's such a big watch of 47 millimeters. You can fit all the information without making the dial too crowded, even though there's a lot going on. Of course, you get a full year because it's a full IWC Perpetual Calendar. Everything is set from the crown as well, making a very complicated watch very easy to use. Just be careful, don't go too forward in time. Let's say that you don't want to jump to 2025, because then that's a little bit of a headache. But beyond that, really easy to use watch, really good looking watches. This one's in a ceramic case with titanium crown and accents there. Very very light, good to wear. So 447 millimeter, super wearable watch, and the blue dial is just gorgeous. A nice deep blue, and a black ceramic case really frames it very very well. Again, if you like perpetual calendars, if you're looking for something a little bit bigger, you're looking for something a little bit unique, or watch you definitely should put your eyes on, put it on the wrist. You'd be pleasantly surprised with how you like this watch. One of my personal favorites in that big palette lineup. Ooh, next up we have the Rolex Cellini Moonphase reference 50535. I think the Cellinis did not get enough love while they were here. Now we don't have Cellinis anymore. We have the new pieces with Rolex, and I just miss the Cellinis, to be honest with you. They just had a nice character. The older Cellinis as well were amazing, great neo vintage hunt as well. Some of the older Cellinis, but this Cellini Moonphase has just a nice sharp character, beautiful white dial with that Moonphase at 6 o'clock. Gorgeous piece, a little bit of complication with the date, and it gave you a nice relief from most of what Rolex has. If you were looking for something on a strap, if you were looking for something, a little bit more classy, a little bit more on the dressy side, but still, you could get it out, you could take it out, on the yacht as well. Just don't die with it. Have some fun with the shots. I think this was a great, great piece for them. Hopefully something similar will come out once again. But either way, I think picking one of these up is a must for somebody who's looking for a well-rounded Rolex collection, or somebody who's been thinking about something a little bit more on the dressier side, but they want to stick with a familiar brand and they want something a little bit more substantial in the feel. I think the Cellini Moonphase is a really, really great option to look at, and something you just don't see very often. I think in the past 4 to 5 months, I haven't seen any of that modern era of Cellini pop in. So not a piece that you see very often. So, and I think they have a good price, 24,575, full set from December 2021. So definitely a good piece if you've been thinking about a Cellini. I think those are pieces you should pick up. I definitely see them as pieces that who knows what happens value wise, but I can see them just getting more and more scarce because they're great watches. Once you put them on the wrist, they're very like, oh, this is like a pleasant surprise, right? So definitely something to keep an eye on. All right, last but certainly not least, we have the FP Journe Chronometre Bleu, the CB as more widely known. And this is one of those, as I call it, perfect watches, right? You have an amazing watch, 39 millimeter tantalum case. So this gives you a darkness to the metal, a grayness, if that makes sense to the case. And when you put that with the beautiful, magnificent blue dial, the contrast is just amazing. Looks beautiful in pictures, looks even better in person. Has a little bit of variation with the sub dial being a little bit of a different shade of blue. Probably one of the best blue dials I've ever laid eyes on, and many other people say the same thing. It is just perfection. That's one of the harder things about making this watch as well, is those dials. Very very hard to make. Always little issues and slowdowns when those are happening. And yeah, it's FP Journe. So what do you get? An independent watch, low production. They make under 1,000 pieces, and sometimes much less on a yearly basis. And great independent, probably the king of independence right now. Help ushering in the independent wave that we're enjoying, and it's, to me, again, one of those perfect watches where you could sit here all day and I really don't know what you can detract from this watch. What can you say bad about a CB? And that's, to me, a perfect watch where 10 people could look at a watch and be like, well, I love this watch. And I think the color is great. It's amazing movement. A great exclusivity, because not many of these were being made when they were, not going super crazy in terms of people chasing after them, and much less are getting made now because the brand is focusing on so many other models as well. So I think this is still a very good pickup if you're looking for something independent to go in your collection. If you've been looking at the CB for a while, not sure what's going on, I really think this is kind of the floor of where they're gonna settle. Because again, you're not gonna have 500 or 1,000 CBs jump in the market every year. The production just doesn't exist, right? So that's what makes these very, very interesting to me. I know, if compared to retail, much more high, but we kind of forget about that and just think about enjoying the watch and thinking about where it is now and where it's been for the past year and a half, 2 years. I think these are great prices to pick them up at. If you've been looking at one and you want to keep one in collection for a while, I think the CB is still a watch to go for. $88,575 for a full set from June 2018. Definitely a watch. If you've never seen it, get your eyes on one, get one on the wrist, see one in the metal. It really, really, you'll be pleasantly surprised. Send me a text after you do. Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. I'm CQ the Watch Guy. I want you to make sure to comment, like, subscribe. Tell me what pieces you want to see, what pieces you want to talk about, what topics you want to talk about, as well as the watch news cycle begins. And yeah, you know what I say. Buy what you love.